Hi, everyone. I'm Nicholas Tutora. Welcome to Tutora Time. Joe Biden's been in office almost 2 months, and I still have no idea what he's doing. If you listen to his press secretary, there's no substance whatsoever. It's just a bunch of descriptive words in search of a meaning.
While there are no final policy decisions, there are a variety of actions under consideration, but also provide a sense of hope of what is possible.
When do you expect the deal to be made?
As soon I can get you an update, I can check with our team and see if there's what the final details are, but we certainly anticipate and expect the deal to fully move forward.
And in tonight's speech, Joe's going to talk about all the sacrifices Americans had to make for COVID, but yet Joe opens up the border and lets a bunch of COVID positive people in, which really undoes any sacrifices that we were supposed to make.
But again, just a question about Biden administration policy. COVID is COVID. COVID at the Dulles Airport Customs is the same as COVID in a border town. So I'm curious why it is that it's enforced for people flying in from other countries, but it is not a requirement by the federal government to test or to prove a negative test anywhere along the border except at a port of entry.
Well, again, I can just describe to you what our policies are. If there's more to convey to you, I am happy to do that.
Joe Biden will be addressing the country in just a few hours, and he's been spending all week writing that speech. It's a 15-minute speech, and he's been writing it and rewriting it to make sure the tone is right and make sure he can memorize it and get everything he wants to say in there.
He has been reviewing drafts of the speech. Last week he was, and of course through the course of this week, and making line edits. He's been providing line edits in order to ensure that he is striking the right tone and providing the right level of clarity.
It's a really wonderful thing to watch a frail president read a teleprompter. I mean, that's what he's doing. Tonight's speech will be an exercise in watching Joe Biden read. Donald Trump answered question after question on the way to the helicopter, the plane, anywhere he can. Whenever he was sitting anywhere with a world leader, they would throw tons of questions at him. And he had the answers right there, sharp. Joe Biden's spending a week to deliver a 15-minute speech. I mean, a third grader could do better than that. And we all know it.
So should we expect concrete steps and policy changes in this speech tonight?
I think you can expect, this is his first opportunity, prime time, of course, to really speak directly to the public. We all have a conversation about a lot of these issues every single day. Most millions of Americans out there are living their lives, some of them, dealing with their kids in school, getting their jobs done, et cetera. And this will be an opportunity for many people to really tune in and hear from him on his plan, on what his team has done to date.
They're hopeful, and they're setting guidelines, and they want people to see what the possibilities are, and they're creating those good paying green jobs somewhere in the future in somebody's head. Nobody knows what's going on.
Now the president of the Texas AFLCIO has come out to say someone working in a refinery leaving to go install solar panels, they're probably going to take a 75% cut in pay. Is that something the administration is aware of?
I'm not sure which jobs are being compared there. Here's what I can convey to you. The president is committed during his presidency to invest in, work with labor unions, with climate activists, with a range with the industry to invest in good paying, clean energy jobs.
And those aren't kids in cages. They're in storage crates with bars on the windows. And those storage crates get really hot really fast. And there's no crisis on the border. It doesn't even matter what you call it. You could call it a crisis, not a crisis. It's really not a big deal for Joe or anybody on his staff because they're not the one living in the crates.
The administration has refused to call it a crisis, saying what you call it doesn't make a difference of how you're responding to it. But now today there are over 3,700 children, unaccompanied migrant children, in Border Patrol custody. They're spending on average over 100 hours, 4 days, in these facilities that are jail-like facilities not meant for children. So how can you say that's not a crisis?
Well, I think what Ambassador Jacobson and Secretary Mayorkas were conveying, and what I've conveyed, is it doesn't matter what you call it. It is an enormous challenge. It is something that is front and center for the president. I noted yesterday, he had what is a regular meeting, but he had a briefing yesterday on the trip to the border.
They invite everybody to come into the country and then they lock them up in crates.
Our administration has made a decision that the way to humanely approach immigration is to allow for, for unaccompanied minors to come and be treated with humanity and be safe while we're trying to get them into homes and sponsored homes. That some more may have come to our border, and there have been, of course, a large flow of children across the border. We recognize that, but we made a policy decision because we felt it was the humane approach.
That's a really great policy, Joe. You know it's bad when the left-wing media is pressing you for an answer and you can't even answer it. They would have never gone this easy on Donald Trump and his press secretary. They're simply getting a pass because people hated Trump and they don't even like Biden, but he's just not Donald Trump, so they're willing to accept it. The stupidity on the left is showing. They're so proud that Joe just is sending out $1,400 to folks.
So they will talk about the $1,400 checks.
How far does $1,400 go? What does it do? Maybe it could pay part of your bills for 1 month. Is that supposed to relieve us from all the destruction that's happened under COVID? What kind of country are we living in now, folks? They're stripping away our gun rights. They're making sure they rewrite election laws through H.R. 1, which take away voting ID, basic voter ID, mass mail-in balloting with no voter ID. Who ever heard of such a thing? You have to show your ID if you go pick up a package at the UPS office or the FedEx office, but now you don't have to show your ID to vote. What kind of ridiculousness is this? What kind of nonsense is this? This Jen Psaki has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. And these are some examples of words that she just throws out that have no real meaning. Folks, America is disappearing right before our eyes. The media in this country has turned into one big gossip column. That's all they care about. They don't care about any substance. They just think that it's going to be enough to say, look at us, we're doing a great job. Aren't we fantastic? Don't you want to be like us? No, you're doing a lousy job, and nobody wants to be like you. I don't know what's going to be left of this country after this Biden administration, or if there will even be a country left. The people have been handcuffed. The people have been undermined. Never thought I would see the day when the United States government was turned against its own people. We're going to keep fighting back. We have a little bit of free speech left, and we're going to use it. So join me again soon on Tutora Time. Hi, everyone. It's Nicholas Tutora. Now more than ever, it's so important to keep free speech alive. So make sure you click the subscribe button so you can stay part of our conversation.